guys, welcome to Cinema Recall. I am Ashley. As you can see, I have no co-host. I actually brought our beloved Vern to get a manscaping update 2.0. So Vern, come on in. Come on, baghead Vern. Come on, buddy. Come have a seat. Oh, over here, buddy. No, went too far. Come on back. Here he comes.
Make sure I don't sneak over here.
Oh, there you go.
Hello.
How you doing, Vern?
I feel like I'm like from what's that movie? Friday the 13th Part 2. When it was Baghead Jason.
Oh, I love
now it's Baghead Vern.
Jason. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so basically shout out to all my Friday the 13th Part 2 lovers out there.
Yeah.
Instead of the burlap sap, I've got the paper bag, but I got my eye here.
There you go. And speaking of lovers,
Yes.
we're hoping to line you up with a fresh new lot.
Okay, that's better than my old lot.
It's better than your old lot.
Or no lot at all.
I haven't seen any of the lots, so I'm believing that there was non-existent.
It's not a good idea for me to have just like an empty lot, hoping that ladies will show up there, because they're not going to show up
now.
They're going to show up now.
They are.
Okay.
I've decided that Vern's new nickname is Daddy Vern. So if you guys want to go along with that, actually somebody said it was creepy. I don't know. I kind of like it. Vern,
Yeah.
shall we reveal?
All right. Okay.
Hold on. Don't do it.
Okay.
Okay, do it. Do it, buddy. Show everybody the look. He's got the look.
Hey.
He's got the look.
Oh.
Vern, you look so good.
Thank you thank you to you, and thank you to the people over at 188 Studios. Anthony just
He
did
was amazing.
a wonderful job with the beard and the hair and everything like that there too, and
He was fantastic.
I was very impressed.
Yeah. He did that straight edge razor. He whistled a little tune.
Yeah, he put the hot towels on my face, and then put like more hot towels, and then put like this mint thing.
Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus aromatherapy.
That just made it really good here. Hold on here.
Fantastic.
I have to.
I'm getting some like.
We're just some feedback. Maybe I'm not.
Are you hearing that too?
I damn.
Uh-oh.
Something's. All right, I'm trying my best not to move. Something's not. Either I don't have something hooked up here, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Jim, if you can hear me, come help us. We're getting some buzzing, a buzz situation.
As long as I don't
That's
move so
all
well there. Okay. I'm just trying to share. Okay.
Oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
We're getting more of that.
It's not only feedback. I think the aliens are trying to.
They're
like,
there.
we want Vern's butt.
Oh,
Now that he looks this good.
Ah.
Vern.
This
Vern,
could happen
we're
there.
Interested. We're
That's
interested.
fair. All right. Well, I was trying to share this. All right. Well, we can definitely do a little housekeeping here right now. So I definitely want to give like a quick little shout out to all of our wonderful Patreon subscribers and the people that helped us out during like Buy Me Coffee. So I'm going to do this right now. I want to give a shout right now. And I'm still sorry about the audio quality here, folks. We're going to get that fixed up here. But while I'm doing that, or while Ash is doing that, I'll do a quick little housekeeping here. So I want to give a big shout out to people who helped us out on Buy Me Coffee. You people have been just amazing. And so I want to give a shout out and thank you right now to Courtney Deitzman, apologize if I missed your name, Meredith McDonald, Donnie Roberts. Donnie Roberts is going to be our future co-host as well. I want to thank Jen, Lydia, and Naomi of Shots and Applaud. And I want to thank David Rosen from Piecing It Together podcast. I want to thank Ryan from Soundtrack Your Life. I want to thank Jeanette Mickenham from AK Jeanette. I want to thank Howard Kastner from Pop Art Podcast. And Lisa Leahy from Rabbit Hole Podcast. Thank you very much, everyone, to donating to our Buy Me Coffee page. Buy Me Coffee is a huge help in getting us, funds for studio and also for gas money and for transportation costs. That's a huge thing. Go to buymecoffee.com/cinema recall. Appreciate that. And then I just got to do a shout out here right now to our Patreon subscribers like I do for every episode. So for Patreon subscribers, again, it's patreon.com/cinema recall as well. Patreon members, I want to thank Matt and Ashley from Ashley at the Movies. Donnie, who's always going to be, Donnie's an author he has a book right now. You can find it on the Cinema Recall website called The Bells, something Bells. And I'm sorry, Donnie, but go to his website, at Unreal Groves on Twitter, Chris Revel of Let's Chat Podcast, Leonard Castro from Forza Crowd, Jeanette Maitenham from HHNet, Jason Soto from Rabbit Hole Podcast, our band member for me and Ashley's band, your ex-girlfriend, Harvey Andrus. Thank you, Harvey, for we have on live with us Juliette Miranda from the Unrateable Rant podcast. We're gonna take just a quick little break right now.
A little music
break from our good buddies at Mercury Theater, and then we'll be back with Juliette Miranda. Well, I was actually don't break a little bit more. I got it. Sorry.
Well, it's a little late.
Hi,
now.
we're back here. Hello, I'm still trying. We're back here live. Juliette Miranda from the Unrateable Rant podcast. Hello, Juliette.
Hey, girl.
How's it going?
Hey.
So glad to have. I've been listening to your show for quite a while, actually. I love the stories that you have. Sometimes I'm listening, I'm thinking, this is real. This is not fiction. These are actually real things that have happened to you throughout your life right there. So I know that you have written a book called Morning Neurosis, all about your time working in the music industry. And I've not yet read the book, and I apologize. I will definitely get to that. But can you tell our listeners just a little bit about, your podcast and your shows? Because for me to describe it, I'm not going to give it much justice here. And I just really want to hear you give a quick little synopsis.
Absolutely. Yeah, I often have a hard time myself describing it. I call them bourbon-soaked stories because these are all the crazy misadventures that I get into, usually as a result of having had a whole lot of bourbon. It's all true. Now, I do change some details so that I don't give away people's identities, but everything does happen, and a lot of times a little too real sometimes. Some of the things that I've done in my past are pretty regrettable. Like you said, I have written a book. It's called Morning Neurosis. And really, the book is about 10 years old. I don't encourage people to read it. What you could do, however, is if you go through my podcast archives, I do an audio version of it, which is actually way better because revisiting it just as a writer, I'm like, what was I thinking when I put this on paper? So I kind of go through, I add different details. I kind of embellish on some of the stories and give it a little bit more context so that it's a more fleshed out story, which is the way to hear it, really. I mean, you can read the book. I'm not going to say don't, but it's a little bit more fun if you hear it through the podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Now, you also like to do on your show before each story, give quite a little bit, a bourbon review. And I'm just kind of curious here. Have you been contacted by different companies to promote their stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've actually kind of laid off doing a lot of the bourbon reviews. I mean, I have 260 episodes of the podcast out now.
Sure.
That's a lot of bourbon.
Yeah.
I found myself repeating a lot of bottles that I'd already talked about, or, maybe just different variations of certain bourbon had come out. And for me, it just wasn't conducive to the show. The story isn't the bourbon. The story is what happens after I drink it. So that's why I never took on any bourbon partnerships, was because one, I wanted to give them a completely impartial review, and two, I didn't really know if they'd want to be associated with some of the
Some of the
chaos that
stories.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Fun,
That's
fun.
awesome.
Oh, but how to say it now? So when we people when they listen to your show there and they get the stories that you have with your friends and the relationships that you have with like dates and everything like that there too. Um, what do you think that makes your show unique from other storytelling podcasts? Because what I find great about your show is the personal vibe you give to each story, and not just a personal vibe. It's also very funny. You also have stories. You have adventure stories with your husband. That's great. Shout out to David here.
Hey,
Uh,
David.
Great person there as well. But I'm just trying to what for new people. 'Cause a lot of people out there may not know exactly who you are because we're a movie podcast. What makes your show unique versus
Well,
other storytellers?
I think you kind of hit it on the head, is that I really try to make it a very personal story. So what I wanted to feel like is that you're just hanging out, with a friend, drinking
Mhm.
and trading. Stories come from a different perspective in that I've spent the majority of my life working in the music industry. So I've dated, I
See,
very conducive to crazy, crazy adventures.
I think the fact that you live in the French Quarter, and I listened to a few episodes, especially with you in Crazy Town, going on like these tours and everything,
Mm-hmm.
has just been probably some of my favorite episodes because
Well, I
that
gotta
woman.
say, yeah, Crazy Town is the pseudonym that I've given to a girlfriend of mine. And it suits her perfectly because she is just flippin' nuts. But I had I've had tremendous experiences with her. We were strippers together. We dated rock stars together. We betrayed each other, and it's the kind of goofy, crazy friend that everybody loves to hate.
You have friends like that, Ashley.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. That we
Yeah,
ended up
the
growing up with.
dangerous ones are the good ones.
I am the dangerous
You are the yes
one.
you
Oh, I'm
are.
not.
You
I'm
are.
too scared to get in trouble.
You are definitely one of our dangerous ones here for sure. But we actually were you there with us when we actually broke into a mental
Nope.
hospital, like an abandoned mental hospital? Weren't you there
I,
with us?
no. You guys,
No,
when was that?
we it was in Prior Lake
Nope. Wasn't
with
me.
me, Kathy, and Mike,
I fucking wish it was me.
and we broke into there was an abandoned mental hospital that's been abandoned for years.
I like how
And
this story gets brought up, but I wasn't there.
I could have swore you were there.
It's like you're just rubbing it in
I'm
my
not.
face. Like all of the things you like, haunted, crazy, like all of the things I like. You're
And
like, were you there?
me and Mike were being just complete a-holes because both Abby and Kathy were there.
Oh,
And
Abby was there.
Abby is very much like a paranormal, like believes in
Mhm.
paranormal stuff. And me and Mike were making jokes of it, and we were just like kind of like taunting the place. And Abby was like, "No, don't taunt this
Oh.
place. There's ghosts
And
here."
who's dead now?
I hope not. I
So
hope
what
no one
happened?
is.
Mike died.
Oh God.
See?
Yeah.
That ghost caught up.
That
That's
caused
what I'm
that ghost
saying.
cut up there. Shoot. Oh.
Terrible.
Well, yeah. So, a little off track here, but yeah, your stories are great,
Mhm.
and I definitely love you even talking about your Dane Rot style right there. And
I was
Um,
very interested to listen to more of your stuff.
yeah,
Thank you, thank you.
And maybe in person someday. I'd like to hear a few stories. That'd be really awesome.
Well, your show actually is kind of a good
Mm-hmm.
site for. It's not so much I wouldn't say like a dating site, but it's fun to listen to someone kind of go through issues of of dating and being single. Even though you've been with your guy for many years, right there, it's always kind of fun to listen to things that have happened before in the past.
Well, yeah, everybody loves dating horror
Yeah.
stories, so I try to turn them into something that's relatable. But, also in the end, I want you to take something away from it, whether it's some ridiculous lesson that I've learned or, just a little bit of insight into how you can make better dating decisions. It's a cohesive story, so there's always a start and an end to it.
One of my favorite episodes to listen to is when you were managing a band on tour, this small little band, and you tried so hard to get them to get at places right there, and one of them stole money, and you stole their liquor, and they kicked you off the tour bus. That was probably like one of my favorite stories, just because of the revenge you got on there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a big thing. Is I'm a big advocate for standing up for yourself, and I mean you take ownership for your stupid decisions, but then if somebody wrongs you, I am fully in support of going back and making sure they get what they deserve.
Oh.
One rock star I was dating a while back, he was just a jerk. He was stealing money from me. He had stolen my identity and was using my credit cards. And I snuck some peroxide into his shampoo bottle.
Oh.
And his hair was his thing. I mean, it was, he just loved his hair so very much. He pampered it every day. So I brought him this shampoo that I'd made for him and said, this is the most moisturizing shampoo you could ever use. You're going to love it. Just leave it on your head. It'll tingle a little bit. And his black hair went to some crazy, like, pussy shade of orange. It was spectacular.
Like a Ron McDonald, like almost like almost like a clown orange.
It wasn't quite clown orange. It had some nice tones of brown and yellow to it. And I'm kind of hoping he also had some scalp burns as a result of it. It's just a little bit of a taking back myself in a really bad relationship.
Oh, too cool. Well, once again, we got Juliette Miranda from the Unrateable Rant podcast. Definitely check out all of her stuff at theunrateablerant.com. You can find videos or podcasts. She's done a slew of celebrity interviews, and I'm a little bit jealous about all the people that you've gotten on your show. And I actually had to look this up right now so I actually can see all the people that are on here. But you had on there Leif Garrett, and you had Joe Bob Briggs, Gilbert Gottfried, Nick DiPaolo, Eric Roberts, even just all these great people. How did you get that set up here? How were you able to get people to appear on your show? Was that all through David yourself? I mean, connections you had?
It's a combination of the two. So something I didn't mention is that I'm a writer by trade.
Sure.
So early on in my career working in the music industry, it was as a journalist. Mm-hmm. So I made a ton of connections in the music industry that way. And now as a podcaster, my husband and I have a huge background in marketing, and we were able to make some connections in the film industry and in the music industry so that we were able to connect with some people that I'm really interested in and wanted to share their stories. So David is my producer.
Sure.
And he has a tremendous formula for booking celebrity guests on podcasts. He really knows how to pitch an idea to agents and managers. So it's through him that I've gotten a lot of the more, spectacular interviews.
Sure,
Awesome.
Definitely. That's cool as hell. I love even the episodes where you and David even go on trips together. You got to get him on more adventures because you two have this great dynamic with each other. It's just absolutely epic and amazing. And I love it dearly. We're going to take just kind of a quick small little break right now. We're definitely going to get back into talking about the Oscar nominations. So we're going to cut right now to Mercury Theater, who are coming up with a theme song. They're working on a new theme song. I'm super excited and happy that they're going to do that.
All right, let's give it a try. Let's see what they got.
Hello, everyone. We are here with guest Juliette Miranda of the Unravelable Rant podcast, writer of the More Neurosis. Now, just yesterday or a few days ago, they announced the Oscar nominees. Juliette, are you a big movie fan?
It's
I know you.
funny should
You write
ask
about
me that.
music. I know you're more of like music, and you've done deals like music and everything like that there too. But you like the movie? Do you like the movies?
Not really.
No. Oh, I love this.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
I'm not going to say I hate movies. I don't. I love very specific movies. If you were to ask
Sure.
me about horror movies, I am all
Oh.
over that. I love horror movies with all of my heart.
Oh my
That's why
gosh.
So are you planning on seeing Studio 666 in 2 weeks?
No, I'm not.
How dare
Whoa, those are fighting words right there. Oh no.
I mean,
But
I'm not
Dave
going to go out of my
Grohl-
way to not
Okay.
see it. I'm just not
You're
counting
just
down
not
the days.
Okay. All right. Well, all right.
All right.
I'll give you that.
So since you're a big horror fan, what is the one horror movie that, if someone was not into horror, you would show them?
Well, my personal favorite horror movie of all time is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Oh,
But I don't know if I would show that to somebody who isn't really a horror movie fan because it might turn them off horror movies forever. I would probably ease them into it a little bit, maybe with something a little more lighthearted like Halloween or.
is Halloween really
anything.
lighthearted? I mean, I don't remember Halloween being lighthearted. I remember the movie being really scary when I saw it.
How old were you when you saw it?
I mean, when I first saw the movie, I was probably like around 9 or 10.
Okay, that's why it was scary to you.
Well, my parents were weird because I could watch The Shining,
Yep.
I could watch Nightmare on Elm Street, but when I tried to watch Weird Science, my folks were like,
That's
"No,
where they draw the
that's
line.
they drew the
That's
line.
the hard
I
line.
couldn't, I
Was
couldn't
that
watch
like
that."
sexy?
No, there's a bra
Yeah,
on screen.
there were like boobs. I'm like, there are boobs in The Shining there. Yeah, but it wasn't sexualized.
Yeah, it was horror boobs.
You were there. Yeah, we were
They
trying
were
to scare you.
horror boobs.
Yeah,
not,
horror boobs.
Not sexy boobs. They were horror
That's
boobs.
the hallmark of a horror movie. It's got to have boobs,
Yeah.
beasts, and
Blood.
Blood.
Yeah, the Joe Bob Briggs thing.
Hey.
Yes,
Yep.
who's doing his Valentine's special, I believe, this Friday on Shudder,
Hey.
He is indeed.
which
yeah.
I'm very
That's
excited
on-
about.
All of those things were on my list for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but you should definitely, well, you should come over. I mean,
I'm by myself.
oh, well, you should definitely watch those things here.
No,
all right.
it's just me.
You guys, your own boobs, buds, and
Yeah.
okay. But all right, fair enough. Unfortunately, Oscars don't really nominate horror films that much, except for they did nominate like Jaws and The
Oh,
Exorcist.
sure.
So they do
Well, and-
recognize a few.
I think those are excellent examples of the genre too, and how it can cross over. I mean, you look at what was it, The Shape of Water?
Yeah.
Was that what
Yes.
it was? Yeah. I mean, that's just a creature feature at heart.
Very much
you
so.
know, it's no different than the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Hmm. Yeah, very much so.
I think the Academy might be a little, short-sighted in their considerations.
Most definitely.
But they have done better at trying to recognize more genre fare. But since it is a trending topic right now, and since we are a movie podcast, I am going to list all the nominees for Best Picture,
All right.
and you just tell me if these are ones you would watch. Now, speaking
Let's
about
just raise our hand, shall we?
Guillermo del Toro, he does have Nightmare Alley
Okay.
for Best Picture,
Saw it.
which is
Did
a
you see it, Maria? Did you see it, Juliette?
I haven't seen it, but I love everything that he does.
Me
so
too,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
that one's a remake of a 1947 movie, I believe, with Joseph Cotton and
It's a
Joan
remake?
Blondell. Yeah, it's a remake.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's about a guy who goes to a fair and meets up with a girl. They discover this card trick, and he becomes famous, and then things go a little haywire after that.
Yep.
All right. Next up is Don't Look Up.
Saw it. How about you?
Do you see that one, Juliette, on Netflix?
Was that Netflix
Yeah,
movie?
with Leonardo DiCaprio. I
Oh,
think they
yeah.
dubbed it the bad hair movie
Does
because
it-
everybody had bad hair. Like everybody. It was a bad haircut.
that was an excellent movie. I didn't know that was up for nomination.
Yeah.
That's reassuring.
That's for Best
Cool.
Picture.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
We have Dune,
Didn't watch it.
the Denis Villeneuve remake of Dune. Now, it's pretty, but I found it to be very dull. I prefer the David Lynch version.
How is it pretty when it's just brown.
It's
Hmm.
it's
Because
expansive.
that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Is it? That's what I've heard because
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I heard that like the reason I haven't seen it is because I've heard that it's not the whole story,
Mhm.
which people didn't know going in. People were like very shocked that they were only getting half of the story, without even knowing if the second half is coming. And yeah, that visually it wasn't as spectacular.
And people were always telling me that, Vern, you need to see it on the big screen. It becomes pretty on the big screen. Like, it shouldn't really matter where I'm watching it as long as I'm into it. And I just found every scene looked the same. All the costumes looked the same. And people were talking in this very monotonish way that had me fall asleep. Now, if I was in the theaters with a big, loud, booming sounds, yes, I'd be able to pay attention to it.
Sure.
But I shouldn't have to have a movie jolt me into like watching it. I should be
Right.
able to watch it just because
Because
of
you're
the
interested
story.
in the story
And I just was
and
not.
the dialogue
Yeah.
and the character development.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just was
Those
not.
are all very important
You
things.
know, all of the things that we like in a movie. Yeah.
Now, next one up here, and I have to pull this one up here because I have not really even heard of this one before. It's called Drive My Car. Have you heard of
I've
this
not
one?
heard of this one either. No.
Okay, so
No idea.
I saw a trailer of this and I was like, this movie looks stupid, but I'll describe this for you. An Asian widow actor seats a chauffeur. The actor turns to his go-to mechanic, who ends up recommended a 20-year-old girl. Despite their initial misgivings, a very special relationship develops between the two. So it reminds me of Driving Miss Daisy.
But like, I don't. Is
I
that
don't
it?
know. You kind of lost me on that.
I know. I'm
Like
trying my
an
best
older
to.
guy who needs a driver, so his mechanic recommends a 20-year-old girl,
And
and,
the-
they
Who's
don't
in
get
it?
along at first.
It's a foreign film.
Okay.
It's up for,
Oh, okay.
but it's also for like best picture, and everyone seems to love this movie. But this guy needs a driver to drive this person to a funeral,
Oh.
and they have, I guess, culture differences. And
Excuse my young.
it reminds me a little bit of that movie Green Book. And driving. I know I'm putting you. I'm yawning you
I'm
with
sorry, and you're not.
that. I'm sorry. It's that movie.
This winter weather. It's just destroying me.
All
for
right.
Real.
Next up is Belfast
Did not see it.
by Kenneth Branagh. Have you seen this one, Juliette?
Nope. Not
Alright.
at all.
So, semi-autobiographical film which chronicles the life of a working-class family and the young son's childhood during the turmoil of the late 60s in North Ireland capital.
Did you watch it?
I didn't really care to. It didn't appeal to me.
That doesn't say a whole lot for
I'm
the
sorry.
movie.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. No, because it sounded terrible.
All right. I did see Licorice Pizza.
How was that?
I like Paul Thomas Anderson.
I know you do.
I do. And I did
Amazing.
a whole month about Paul Thomas
Yes, you
Anderson
did.
called PTA Meetings. And it captures the essence of the 70s. Like,
Okay.
if you were growing up in the suburbs and the valley in San Fernando, I thought that part was great. I thought the actors are great. Alana Haim from Haim is just great in this role. Cooper Hoffman, who is Philip Seymour Hoffman's
oh.
kid.
Okay.
They are both good. It looks great. It's just a series of vignettes with these two.
Oh, okay.
And people are having a big issue because of their age gap difference.
Oh, is this the one you were telling me about?
Yes. And
But they're not even. It's not even romantic.
I
right?
don't feel it's romantic. Like, not in like a sexual way. Like, they love each other and they care for each other. I just don't see these two hooking up. And people are making comparisons to this, like Harold and Maude. And like Harold and Maude, those two hooked up and it was creepy and weird. These two, they stay in bed together and they hold hands. All right? It's
Yeah.
not. And at the end of the movie, she's been dating this guy who turns out to be, an a-hole, and then she kind of comes back to him. And I just did not see the creepy romance.
I would have
You know,
to
it
watch it
sounds-
myself.
It sounds very particular to the 70s, where that kind of relationship was far more normal than it is now.
Sure.
I hadn't had that movie on my radar, but it actually sounds intriguing the way you described it, so I might have to check that out.
I mean, the soundtrack is amazing. I like the fact, too, that they use a lot of deep cuts from
Yeah,
artists.
yeah.
They don't use the typical needle drop of 70s songs,
Oh, that's nice.
which
yeah.
so the soundtrack I want to get, And the story from Johnny Greenwood is also really good as well. All right, next up is The Power of the Dog, which I really thought.
Is that the one with Benedict Cumberbatch? Is
Uh,
that the
I-
one?
it's on Netflix.
Right? Where he's like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You watch that one there?
No, I have not, but I've seen previews and it did look good.
So a domineering rancher responds with mocking cruelty when his brother brings home a new wife and her son until the unexpected comes to pass. So it's from Jane Campion, who did the movie The Piano,
Okay.
which I really love.
Didn't that win an Oscar?
For Best Actor for
Okay.
Holly Hunter.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That movie's great. So I'll watch it based on that. I see the story is also by Johnny Greenwood. So I'm very curious about that. And that's playing on Netflix, so that's easy to watch. Have you seen that movie, Juliette?
Nope, not at
Okay.
all.
It does look good though.
Next
Okay.
one is West Side Story,
Haven't seen that
which
one either.
is Spielberg's remake, and it was good.
That's the remake of the musical.
Yes.
Yes,
Is it a musical? Or
Yes.
is it
Yeah.
a straight? Okay.
It's a musical.
Okay.
a musical.
And it's good.
Wow.
I mean, they really.
When you're a jet. I
Hey,
mean,
when you're a jet, baby, I'm a shark.
I was on a podcast once where I actually had to sing songs from that,
You did?
but do it in a review format.
Oh,
I'll try and find that for listeners later on.
that'd be
That
fun
sounds
to listen
complicated.
to.
It was.
Yeah.
It was very
Wow.
complicated, though.
Vern, do you feel pretty?
I feel pretty. Also, I didn't do that song. It was the
Who's the pretty girl in
The
the
f-
mirror there?
oh, the pretty girls in the. Oh.
What mirror wear?
But I gotta say, all the actors just did a really great job, and the way that Spielberg moves the cameras. This is probably Spielberg's best movie he's directed since Munich. From back then,
Okay.
I really thought this is like one of his best things that
How
he has
long
done.
ago did he do Munich though?
Like 2007.
Oh my god, that's
So
so long
since
ago.
then, and the last movie we did before that was a lot of fun was Catch Me If You Can. So this is
Oh.
probably the most fun
Wow.
That's
movies
a
he's
fun
made.
movie.
That is
Yeah.
that one is
I
excellent.
will say this is probably the most fun movie he's made since Catch Me If You Can.
All right.
You know, a lot of people love Ready Player One, and I had fun with that one, but I like Catch Me If You Can a little bit more there. And last is a movie called Coda, which I'm curious to watch, but it's only on Apple Plus, and I'm not spending money on another streaming
Do the
subscription.
free 7 days, baby.
Okay, girl.
Don't you know
Game
that?
the system.
Hey, all right.
That's right. You're like, I'll just throw in my email and get 7 free days and watch the one thing I want to watch, and then.
But this one sounds kind of cool. So Ruby is the only hearing member of a deaf family from Massachusetts. At 17, she works mornings to help her parents out. But in joining her high school's choir club, Ruby finds herself drawn to both her parents and her passion for singing. It's about a girl who wants to become a singer who has deaf parents and her achieving her goals
Okay.
despite her parents'
Oh, I've
handicap.
heard about that. Okay.
And so that one looked really kind of good. So I'm going to say, out of all of those, from hearing just the descriptions, which one would you pick for Best Picture?
You go for. Go ahead, Miss Juliette.
Well, of the ones that I've seen and know about, personally, I really love that Netflix movie, Don't Look Up.
Yes.
Whatever it's called. I thought it was
got
just
it, yeah.
written so extremely well. I thought it was really insightful into kind of our modern culture and where we could potentially be headed.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the acting. I thought it was well done. I don't think it will win, but it would be the movie that I would hope would win.
See, I'm kind of hoping for a slight little win. I'm hoping they'll do like the network and get like the top nominations. But even though I think this is the only nomination it has for picture.
Just the fact that it made it that far, I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the movie that will likely win, I haven't seen it, but it's that Coda movie. I think that that's probably got the most potential.
Oh, and I forgot one more movie for Best Picture. I'm so sorry about this.
Vern.
King Richard, which
Oh.
which is about the with Will Smith, and that's about the Serena sisters.
Yes, the Williams.
The Williams sisters, yes,
Yeah.
Serena and Venus Williams.
Yeah.
That's me being a bad host here. So
Shameful.
yeah, and I heard that's good. I know that Will Smith is up for an acting award
I
for
need
that
to
one.
watch that. That did look excellent.
I have not seen it yet. It looks really good. I know that one was an HBO Max. It's not on there now, but they might bring that back on there. I'm not
They
quite
should,
sure.
if they want us to watch it before the Oscars.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I like what you said too about Don't Look Up. That's probably my choice. That was my favorite movie of the year. I like the fact it just reminded me so much of like Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying,
Yeah.
Love the Bomb, because that movie was set during the Cold War crisis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And how the nuclear fallout, and now you got Don't Look Up, which is handling the virus and
No, it was
people
an
being
asteroid.
asteroid, yes.
But misinformation.
Misinformation about things.
Exactly. Yeah, it's misdirection. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So moving on here quickly here to best actors, we got Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom.
Did not see that. Although it did look great. I didn't I just never like I don't know. It didn't like grab me where I was like I have to watch that. It looked great and I think I'll end up watching it eventually, but I wasn't like I have to see that right this minute. Did you see the premise of that or did you see the preview?
No, and I'm not even sure I know who the actor is, which
Andrew
goes to show you how
Garfield
useless I am.
was the second Spider-Man.
You're losing me.
Yeah, sorry.
He was in he was in The Social Network.
As who?
That movie I do know.
So
Okay.
he was the kind of the partner of
Oh,
Lex Luthor's
okay.
character.
Oh,
what-
got you. Lex Luthor.
I don't remember the guy's name now,
We don't know any of them. We just call them by their character names.
but he was in that one there. Okay. So
It was about the guy who wrote Rent.
yes,
right?
very
Yeah.
much so. Yep. All right. Then we got Javier Bardem and being the Ricardos, playing Ricky Ricardo. The whole
He
relationship.
was good in that, and that was an excellent movie too.
Yeah. All right. We got Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog. And we got Will Smith and King Richard. Denzel Washington and The Tragedy of Macbeth. And those are... I know about The Tragedy of Macbeth just because it's a Coen Brothers movie, and that's all I know. And
Has Will Smith ever gotten an Academy Award?
he's never won one. He was nominated for
nominated.
Ollie, I believe.
Oh yeah.
So he could possibly win for this one too. I've got no clue. I'm gonna say Denzel because Denzel's the man.
What was
Denzel Washington.
I didn't need his last name to know who you were talking about. I was gonna ask what picture was he in?
The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Oh, that was the one. Okay.
Yep. All right.
I also didn't see that clearly.
So for Best Actress, we have Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which looks really good. Olivia
Yeah,
Colman.
that was good.
You saw that one?
I did. Yeah, I wandered past it on Amazon Prime one night, and I'm like, I'll watch this.
Okay.
It was weird but cool.
I know I watched that because the whole thing of Tammy Faye and Jim Baker. There were a couple of things there. We got Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter. We got Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers. Nicole Kidman for being the Ricardos. I thought she did
For
a
being
pretty.
Lucy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought she did good.
I didn't
She
watch
did
it,
an
but she
excellent
looked great.
Lucy.
Like the makeup looked great.
People had issues with that movie, and I'm like, I thought she was great, and I did not know how, because the whole show, the movie, is that Lucy is pregnant, and they would announce her character being pregnant on the air,
Oh, is that the whole
and
premise?
studios are having a big uproar about it.
Because you're with child.
Yeah,
Oh Lord.
and they
I
couldn't
think
say that.
movie could have been better streamlined. Like, I really enjoyed the movie, and I think it's appropriate to nominate her as actress
Yeah.
because she was excellent as Lucille Ball. But the movie itself is just a little disjointed. I feel
Sure.
like 'cause you've got those two entirely separate stories going
Yeah.
on. So
Because it's about that story, and then her turmoil with Rick Ricardo
with
and
Ricky, yeah.
yes, and about the infidelities that he's had.
Oh yeah.
So, and last is my pick for Best Actress, and that's Kristen Stewart in Spencer, where she plays Princess Diana.
Oh, I heard that was fabulous.
It's on Hulu now,
Oh, good. I'll watch it.
so I'm very excited to watch that. All right, and that's boy, what's got here now? And I'm also gonna do this because I'm a big fan of it. I'm gonna do Best Animated Feature. I want to.
yeah.
So we have Encanto.
Oh, that
no,
was wonderful.
No, so many no's. I hated Encanto.
Oh, oh wow.
I have no.
I
what?
am
What?
the world's biggest Disney fan. I mean, we
And
go
you didn't
once
like
a
it?
year. I didn't like it only because I felt like the story was weak. There wasn't a villain. There
Oh.
wasn't a strong enough story. There were too many characters in it, and I feel like they tried way too hard to shoehorn the music in to drive the story, whereas they should have just had a solid story from the start.
I'm neutral. I have not seen this movie.
I guess I would have said that the grandmother was technically the villain.
I wouldn't call her a villain.
Not a villain, but she was. If you had to pick one, she was the one. Like she would
have been, but she was just so. She just wasn't a strong character.
Fair enough. Here, I've got no clue, but I'm playing the fifth on way here. I will definitely go back to this one later on. I'm very, very intrigued by it there. And I just lost my list here. Next we have up here. Next is Luca, because my name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
Yeah. Do you?
I do live on the second floor. No, I don't live on the second floor. I live on the first floor.
First floor.
I live on the first floor. I know this was another Pixar, and I get so confused too about like Pixar and Disney. If this is a Disney feature, but I think this actually is just a Disney feature. I could be wrong here.
It is.
It is. Hey,
Yeah,
good. All right.
It's about a little sea monster who, it's kind of like, it's a little sea monster who wants to go see what it's like on the surface.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, kind of.
Just Little Mermaid, but they just switch genders.
But it's a little dude, and he makes a friend.
That one would get my vote. I thought
Okay.
it was
That one was great.
And then also we have on here a movie called Flea. Now, Flea is different from other nominations. Flea is nominated for Best Animated Feature, Best Documentary Feature, and Best Foreign Film. And
Wow, that's like a perfect storm.
And it's the first time that's ever been done here. And I'm just trying to find a quick little synopsis for Flea. All right, so here it is. On the verge of marriage to his long-time boyfriend, a successful academic in Denmark is confronted with a secret from his past. So, I just never seen a movie that has been nominated for both an animated feature film and a documentary feature film.
Okay, I was gonna watch Flea last night, but then I decided to fold my laundry.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
It didn't look. I saw it and I was like, I should watch that because it's on the list. And then I read the synopsis and I just was not intrigued enough to click.
Just not click. Okay.
Yeah, and it's animated. Yeah.
It's animated. Yeah. And it's like I said before, it's being out for foreign feature, documentary feature, and animated feature, and I just found it to be absolutely just
interesting. Okay.
Very crazy and amazing here. Okay, and now I think the last couple ones on here for animated films, and then we'll move on here. The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Did not see it.
That was fun.
But it looked great.
It's about the family, and one girl's like really into technology, and she's got her own like YouTube show, and her dad is not into that stuff that she's into, and then a bunch of like aliens come down.
That's right.
And there's a pug.
There's a
really
pug,
cute
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
A really derpy pug.
Yeah.
aren't they all derpy?
I think so.
But it's kind of like this misguided family. It's a fun one. It's on Netflix right there, and that's probably going to be like my choice. Is probably that one, and the last one is Raya and the Last Dragon,
Never saw it.
which I have not seen
missed
it.
That one. Yeah.
It just looked like your standard female adventure movie, like Brave and Mulan.
Yeah.
And I've seen movies like that before, and I'm sure it's probably really excellent. But you gotta give me something a little bit more than the girl that no one understands, all right? And she's gotta be her own thing and be her own boss, and be a power struggle. I just want to.
The odds.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, Juliette. Those are our stories.
Yeah.
Right? I know. What are they doing? They're
Sheesh.
cribbing our lives.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
We
No.
know what our lives are like. Tell us something different.
Yeah. Yes, I know women can be powerful and they're strong and everything like that. They're too. And do something more with that. But yeah, those are some of the Oscar nominees right there. I'm not going to go through the whole list of nominees. There are other podcast shows that do that. I know for sure that I'll be, on the website, cinemarecall.net. I will list all of my predictions and who I think is going to win.
He's gonna get them all, and then we'll have to burn him at the stake because he's like a sorcerer, wizard.
But I will say I am not going to watch the award shows this year. I used to watch the award shows all the time.
Yeah.
And
You're not gonna?
I don't care anymore.
Are they even gonna do one this year?
They're going to do them. I just do not care anymore
Oh, right on.
about it. I just
I mean, we cared about it when we would dress up and have a party.
yeah,
That was fun.
those were fun.
Not that I think you were the only one who ever paid attention.
I was
Everybody else was just drinking.
just drinking and handing it out. I love that.
I was just eating.
Yeah. Well,
Give me all of the food, please.
but I have this love hatred
Yeah.
of awards. I
Is
love
it
the fact.
stuffiness. that
I
you
like
don't
the fact that they're praising movies and everything like that, but it's just all the BS I see online about
Okay.
it, and I just kind of get sick of the whole thing. And I just want to just enjoy movies. I want just to
Yeah.
enjoy things right there and allow what's being nominated. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't need to see people give a speech about how they're trying to change the world for making a movie.
And then they just go sit in their house and make movies and do nothing more.
Well, yeah, I just don't need to see. You don't need to try to tell me how you're gonna change the world just because you
Yeah.
made a movie.
Right.
If you want to do that, take the money you made and donate to charities out there.
And yeah, go
Just actually
do it.
do something right there. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Hey, Juliette, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Wild Turkey Rare Breed. It's a barrel proof bourbon, so it's about 119 proof.
Oh.
It's good. It's real good.
Nice. We were drinking. Oh yeah, I think we
Well, they're-
told you the
Oh yes.
Tullamore
Tullamore. Did I say it right? Tullamore
Yeah,
Dew.
you said it
Oh my
right
God, I
this
said it
time.
right this time.
Hey.
Tullamore Dew.
Yes, it's pretty
So
good.
is that something you regularly drink, or did you break
This
it out
is
special for
this
the
is
show?
This is part of the Conduit Studios.
this is the main guy Jim. This is his go-to beverage. And now we've been
we are the
sucked
official.
in.
This has been the
We've been
official.
sucked in. This is what we drink now. You know what else I really like?
We could be sponsored here. Tullamore Dew. You could be the official spokesperson
from the
here.
dew, fresh dew from Tullamore.
Do the dew. Do the Tullamore Dew. To the extreme.
To
All
the
right.
extreme. I also really like the it's is it
So, I need to know something too, Juliette. I need a good honey flavored
that's
whiskey.
okay. I bought one for
You
here,
did?
and it was horrible. It was made here in Minnesota, so I'm not going to say who made it. It was bad, but you know which one is really good? Is it what is the other one? There's Jack Daniels and there's Jim Beam. One of the two makes a really good honey whiskey, and it's like candy.
It's probably Jim Beam. They have their American Honey release. That's probably what
So
you're thinking of.
stinking good, and that's the same brand that does like the green apple.
I believe they have a green apple.
Yeah,
release
okay.
also.
Well, do you
The honey one though, oof.
are you a fan of those types of whiskeys? Those type of sweet whiskey? Or what type of whiskeys do you like the most?
Well, me, when I'm drinking a bourbon or a whiskey, I really want to taste the bourbon.
Okay.
I drink it because I love that, flavor, whether it's that rich caramel flavor or with the rare breed that I'm drinking. This is a little bit more aged, and it also is a higher rye in the mash bill, so it's got a lot of spice. It's really, really potent, which is what I like in a drink. I want a really bold, kind of knock you on your ass flavor.
Okay. So what's the one that has the best type of caramel flavor, the really kind of bold ones?
Well, I would say a good one would be, if you're just kind of getting into bourbon, would be to go with something like Elijah Craig. That has a really classic bourbon profile, and it's a little bit more nuanced than something like the regular Jim Beam or Maker's Mark. You get a little bit more of the barrel flavor to it, so it has a bit of an oak edge to it, but it's still entirely smooth. A little sweet, but just balanced with the vanilla and the caramel. It's definitely one of my go-tos.
So for someone like me, I'm a sweet person, and I like smoky. So, what would you recommend for me?
Yeah.
In that case, I would go with something like a mixed cocktail, because I'm just being honest, you're not going to get that in a bottle of bourbon. I mean, unless you're drinking something like the American Honey, where you're going to get that sweetness to it. Or if you wanted to do something that has a cinnamon edge to
Oh, the
it,
cinnamon?
some really nice
That sounds
cinnamon
good.
flavored bourbons.
Yeah.
I don't recommend Fireball because personally,
No.
it tastes like a melted Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
Too much
no.
sugar.
But yeah, there's so much sugar
Yeah.
in it. I think there's one called Bird Dog. I believe it's called Bird Dog. They have a cinnamon whiskey that's really nice. I put it in my hot chocolate.
That sounds lovely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you.
Oh, very cool. All right. Now, I did kind of wait into a conversation about this because we're all podcasters, and there's a lot of things on the news right now about Spotify and Jim Rogan and all the things that are happening.
Joe Rogan.
Jim? Not Jim?
Joe.
Joe Rogan?
Joe.
It's Joe.
Who the hell is Jim Rogan?
I don't fucking know.
Is there
I don't
Jim
know who
Rogan?
Jim
Nope.
Rogan is,
Is it your
but-
neighbor?
No. Sorry. Joe Rogan.
Get it right.
And
man.
all the backlash that's happening with him and his shows.
Yep.
And I've been seeing a lot of like other podcasters and artists saying they're going to take their content off of Spotify if Spotify is continuing to support Joe Rogan. Now, if you're a famous singer like a Neil Young or Beyonce or a famous podcaster who gets a lot of like money in
And revenue, yeah.
revenue, then yes, I can sort of see your issues with Spotify paying someone and you're kind of losing money because Spotify gave Joe Rogan like $1 million contract, and I know they're paying other musicians just pennies of the dollars for having their songs up on Spotify. And I get that, okay? I just kind of take issues with like smaller local artists who want to take their music off the platform. And I get if it's for, like a political reason, but I don't think taking your stuff off the airwaves is going to make that much difference. Plus, people lose it. And I say this about podcasters because we host our show through Anchor, who is owned by Spotify.
Okay.
So I do not really want to lose Spotify because a lot of our listeners come through Spotify. And we're a low budget show. And I don't want to lose any of those streamings
Well,
into it.
I just don't think that it makes a difference because when you use a platform like you have, like we use, I say you
Yeah.
because you do it. I just show up. People can find us on a variety
True.
of platforms.
Yes.
So if they don't want to go to Spotify, they don't have to. And I don't really think that's
True.
makes a big.
Do you understand what we're trying to say here, Juliette? Because I do things through Anchor. Like I said, Anchor kind of runs on Spotify. So if Spotify goes, I'm afraid Anchor's going to go, and all of our past episodes are going to go. And that happens to a lot of
I
podcasters.
don't think you need to worry about Spotify going anywhere.
No.
Okay.
The truth is, we've been in this position 100 times over.
You have.
If you think about the 80s and the PMRC,
Sure.
they were all up in arms about explicit lyrics on albums. What happened? They put stickers on their albums, and we continued to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
In the 90s, we had our, anti-hero Howard Stern.
Yeah.
He got booted off a bunch of radio stations. Those radio stations probably still exist. I don't know. Howard Stern still exists. I think the thing that we need to be more concerned about right now is the fact that podcasting is very much like the Old West in that we're all just putting stuff out there,
Mhm.
and I think that's really scary to
Yeah.
a lot of people. There's no real control over it. And although personally, I don't think there should be, I think over time we're going to start to see things happen like you did with, say, the MPAA,
Yeah.
where, you've got movies that are rated. And as a communicator, that concerns me.
Sure.
So
But
I wouldn't worry about Spotify going anywhere. It's an entity. They have money. This is not going to make or break them.
okay.
But the bigger concern is podcasting in general. How are they going to treat that going forward, knowing that people like Joe Rogan have a very strong voice?
True. But do you think that the influence of, social media and people like art, like I said before, like Neil Young and other musician artists removing their stuff off of Spotify, will that become like a ripple effect and have other people
There are
go off?
millions and millions of artists out there.
That's true.
Now, admittedly, Neil Young is a larger scale artist, and there are people who are going to follow suit. But again, this is not something that is going to make or break the industry.
That's fair. That's true. Okay, well, I appreciate that very much. I just got a little nervous just because of who our host and site was. And I'm thinking, well, there goes all my content because I've had issues with our laptop. And, oh, by the way, we recently just got the laptop fixed, so all the Buy Me Coffee patrons have helped pay for that, and that was
Yay.
epic. And thank you all
Thanks,
for
guys.
helping out with that. So we're gonna be able to put up more episodes of the podcast onto all of your streaming platforms, even Spotify, which I know they're hot water right now. But don't blame the company just because of one guy. And I feel like people don't really know how to like change the channel or turn things off, really. And that's like a little diatribe right there. If you don't like something,
Change the channel.
you don't have to listen to it.
You don't?
You can shut it off.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Personal accountability is everything.
Yes.
Oh, my
You can
goodness.
stop listening to whatever you want, or you can educate people around
Yeah.
you, whether it's your family or kids, about whatever they're listening to or watching.
Exactly.
That's right.
Right up there. Educate people, folks. Right. Yeah. So that was it. Juliette, you helped me out, calm my nerves down so much. I might hire you as my new therapist.
I think it's not. I think it's Juliette and her bourbon.
I think so too. Oh my.
What do you think?
Well, I'll
So-
tell you, the bourbon has a lot to do with it.
Would you ever make your own bourbon?
No, oh gosh, no. I mean, I considered partnering with a distillery
Yeah?
to release a branded line of bourbon, but the thing is, I have such very specific tastes, and bourbon is a very involved process. At a minimum, it takes 2 years to go to market. So I'm just not that invested in it. I just want to drink it.
just wanna
I
drink
it.
Enjoy it.
You're like,
Yeah,
just put it in my glass, and we're good to go.
Well,
exactly.
Love it.
we're going to get things wrapped up here, but I definitely want to hear about your top 3 favorite bourbons.
Ooh, that changes every day.
Well, your top favorite bourbons for like
Today.
right now, like just as of now. If you had to have like just 3 for the week, or
Okay, so here's what I'll tell you. When I go to a bar, the number one bourbon that I always order, because you never know what bars have,
Yep.
I always ask for Buffalo Trace, because pretty much every bar, at least here down in the South, they have Buffalo Trace. It's a solid bourbon if you want to drink it on its own, and it's not expensive, so if you want to mix it in a cocktail, it's perfect.
okay,
Otherwise, drinking at home, I love the Wild Turkey family. I mean, pretty much everything from it is awesome. So, like I said, I'm drinking the rare breed. But if I wasn't drinking that, I would be drinking their Russell's Reserve 10-year release, which is just fantastic. And then after that, I think with a more like mellow flavored bourbon, everybody loves their wheated bourbons like Maker's Mark. For me, that would be Blanton's. Blanton's has that
Wait.
perfect wheated
how do you
flavor.
help me out here? Blanton's? I'm writing this down.
Blanton's.
Blan-
Blanton.
Blanton's. Okay, gotcha.
I'll remember.
That's a bit
it
of a
for you.
unicorn bourbon in some places. It's very hard to find, but when you do, it is delightful.
Excellent.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have to try it for.
That is, I think so.
Yeah.
Right away here. Well, before we do go, Julia, please tell listeners out there again where we can find you on the interwebs.
So, if you want to listen to my podcast, it
Which
is
you
the
do.
Unwritable Rant. Yes, please listen to it. Bourbon Soaked Insanity. It's pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts. So just look for that, or go to my website, which is theunwritablерant.com, and there you can be connected to everything. The podcast. I have some YouTube videos up about New Orleans and bourbon and stuff.
Oh.
And there's also a link there for my book, and also a link to buy me a drink if you're so inclined.
Oh,
All right.
sure. Well, and speaking about New Orleans, do me and Ashley have an invite to come out to New Orleans with you and David and have a New Orleans lunch sometime in 2022?
Yes, I tell everybody you need to go to New Orleans at least once, because it's a magical place. Here in the French Quarter, I mean, it's just, the buildings are old, the culture is rich, the food is
Fabulous.
Yeah.
outstanding. I mean,
What-
everywhere you look, there's a little bit of history, and everything has a story.
What is the best time of year, would you say?
I think for me, it tends to be October into November, because the weather is a little bit less humid, but you still, you get that warmth, you get a little bit of humidity, which I like. It's not as crazy, so there aren't a ton of festivals going on. You can really kind of immerse yourself in the city.
Nice.
And,
Okay.
Oh, I'm
it's
thinking right now,
perfect.
New Orleans, like around the end of October, leading into Rhode Island Comic Con.
Ooh. I mean, that does sound good.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It does.
Would you?
Hey,
Would
you
you?
guys have plans.
Yeah. would you mind at all if we like hung out with you and David for like just like an afternoon?
Oh, we would love to show you New Orleans. I mean, I can totally guide you guys.
Yeah?
We'll hang out. I'll take you to our favorite bars, introduce you to all of the best bartenders that we know.
Okay.
Really give you kind of the locals guide to New Orleans.
Excellent.
Well,
I just need food and haunted places.
haunted.
That's all I need.
Haunted place. Hell
You
yeah.
know, my girlfriend lives right across the street from the LaLaurie Mansion,
Oh,
and
Oh.
that's Delphine LaLaurie.
Absolutely.
is kind of a maniac. So our favorite hobby is actually listening to the ghost tours that come by
Yes.
and then correcting them whenever they get facts wrong.
'Cause I know they
I
have
love it.
ghost stories here in Anoka.
oh yeah. I
Of
mean,
like ghost tours and everything like
Yep.
that there too. So that's kind of fascinating. All right.
it's pretty cool.
Very cool indeed. All right. Well, a big shout out to you, Juliette. I thank you so much. This has been an honor, dream of mine to have you on the show and talk with you. I'm hoping to have you back on again at any time. But just
I can't thank you enough for having me on. This has been a blast. Sorry I don't know a ton about the Oscars, but if you ever want to talk horror
Oh,
movies,
we-
I am all in.
okay. So we'll have you back on for our Halloween show.
Yes.
Talk about horror features, and I'm
Love it.
excited for that. Hoping to catch you all for Joe Bob Bridge's last drive-in this Friday on Shudder, because I will be live tweeting things on there on the Cinema Recall
all
page. But that's it right now. Definitely check out all of our past episodes at cinemarecall.net. Don't forget to follow us on the Instagram at Cinema Recall Podcast. We're available on Twitter at cinema_recall. My beautiful co-host Ashley is available on the Instagrams at massage.mom. Follow there. Follow her cat Milo.
Follow my cat.
Her cat has got
My model Milo.
my model Milo, who actually has more followers than you
he
do.
does. It's shameful.
Your cat is
Cats
just,
are awesome, though.
Cats
who
are
doesn't love a good
amazing.
cat?
Oh man, he's so smart.
so definitely
And so dumb.
follow that right there. And that's it. That's our live show right there. Good night, everyone, and I will see you all soon.
Bye, Juliette. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Yay! Woo!